Okay, good morning. I am Đinh Tường, and I'm very honored to open for Group 2 this week. So our work is on Unit 2, Cultural Diversity. We've got 6 parts to cover for you in these 4 periods this week. The first of which is on my work, or is about my work on the vocabulary of Unit 2. So I've we've got plenty of time to work with you today, so I'll give you a few minutes to look through your handouts again if you haven't, or just wanted to look at it again. I'll be back soon. Okay, so I'm back. As you may have noticed in your handouts when you were going through it, there were quite a few words missing from it. Um, that's because I have created a game for you, which is the bulk of our interactions today. This is to try and encourage handout use to guess the answers as well as make it easier for you to memorize what we're going to cover today, because you will be playing along and filling in the gaps as the game goes on. Okay, so looking at the screen, you will know that this game is called Jeopardy. Yeah, you should be familiar with it if you've seen the insanely popular American TV show, which this game is based off of. Okay, noun for 100. This is a decision to not have something valuable or important in order to have another thing of higher value or importance.
Oh, right. Or is it sacrifice?
Okay, correct. Very good. Um, well, this word is really obvious. The definition is as shown. There's not really an example because I think you know this word before. That's why it's in 100 points. Okay, 200 verbs. This word is paired with up to form a phrasal verb, meaning be alert to or be wary of something, or with off to mean making jokes or witty remarks about somebody. So our phrasal verbs here are wise up to something or wise off to somebody, which is as you've seen, one means be wary or be aware of something, be alert to. And wise off means just basically the American equivalent of taking the mickey out of somebody. So we have examples for our pair of phrasal verbs here. Please have a look at them before I go back to the home slide. Okay, 300 points adjectives. Okay, this word means existing only in part or incomplete.
Is that partial?
Correct. You got it very quickly. Nice. So as seen on screen, this word is exactly that. But what I wanted to talk about is its bias meaning, as in this word means being very heavily favorably biased towards something, or you have a liking for it. I should relate this word to a word that you might have learned from year 10, penchant. Remember that? That's a French word. Okay, so in our examples here, we have the paper gave a very distorted and very partial view of the situation. That's the bias meaning of the word. And I'm partial to bacon and eggs. That means having a penchant for something or having a very strong liking for something. Okay, 300 for verbs. This verb means to make things equal in size, quantity, value, and etc. in a whole of a place or a group.
Is that equalize?
And yes, it is. You got it very quickly again. This word is, as shown on screen, a very easy word, and I guess I don't really have to explain here. A little note though, that if you've seen English commentary of like football or something, hear that they they say someone scored the equalizer. That means they've scored a goal to make the score between teams equal, as the word might suggest. Okay, nouns for 300. This noun means someone who is not accepted, liked by others, or a product that has been thrown out because it has a defect.
I think this word is reject,
Correct. Your group
right?
has the 600 points to take home. Now, the verb reject that I took from the book, you already know. This is the noun, however. I hope this is new to you. I'll just gloss over it here. This is really easy. This is used to talk about someone who is not accepted or liked by other people, or say society, like you've seen on screen before. It could also be used to talk about someone who didn't succeed in entering, say, competition. You call that one a name of competition reject. I'll show you the examples here. Right. That's what I was talking about. Okay, the examples. A shop selling cheap rejects that's products with defects, and they felt that they were society's rejects. That's they were unloved by society, and an X Factor reject. That's a competition failure.
Synonym and meanings of words. 500 points, please.
Going big today, huh? Okay, synonyms for 500. So its meaning is, aside from meaning the quality of trying to do something despite its difficulty, this word also means the act of finding the exact amount, level, or degree of something.
Determination.
Correct. That's 1,000 points for you. Um, since I'm strictly sticking to the meaning in a book's context and expanding on it, I chose this word's alternate meaning to present to you. Now you know of another word to either say calculation or measurement. I actually forgot to include the act of deciding something officially on the screen, but I'll give you the full examples with all the words and stuff right after we're done with this. Okay, so our examples. We have factors influencing the determination on future policy. That's the official decision meaning. And both methods rely on the accurate determination of the pressure of the gas. That's the calculation meaning. Again, this is not to be confused with the other meaning, which is the quality of trying to do something in spite of its difficulty. 500 nouns, right?
Yeah.
Okay, this noun is a thin vertical structure, for example, a wall or something separating two parts of a room, or this is the act of dividing a country into two or more separate countries. This is partition, yeah. This is what it looks like. You may already have this in your homes to separate, like, your kitchen and your living room if they're in the same floor. Cuts the room into parts to separate one part of it from another, as the name suggests. Now, if you put something like this over a country like Korea, now you have North Korea and South Korea and a very long and complicated history of war and conflict. That's the partition of a country. Okay, verb for 500. This verb means to doubt the honesty or reliability of something. This is actually two words. You can name either to take the full 500. So you've got distrust. That's the meaning of it. Now, the other word is mistrust. It's also got this meaning. These are interchangeable in most circumstances. You can usually use either. However, I do want to note that while these words are interchangeable, they have a slight difference. Distrust is more commonly used when someone absolutely cannot be trusted in any way, and mistrust is more commonly used when you're just doubting someone or are suspicious of them or something. Um, yeah, as the notes say, um, while these are interchangeable, you can use either of the words as you please.
Adverbs for 500, please.
Everyone's going big today. Okay, adverbs for 500. This is in a way that was previously formally agreed upon by a contract.
Is it contractually?
That's correct. That's 500 points for your group. And
Yeah.
this word is exactly what it says on the tin. I really don't have much to say here. Um, this is another one of those filler words that I put in just to fill out the board.
So these meanings all attach to the same word fairly and in the same way in uniform amounts and to the same degree.
This is a easy word. I don't have to say much here. You can probably guess in your handout. What I wanted to show you though is not documented on any of the things we sent to you via Zalo. That is be equal to something, which is I think equivalent to be capable of something. As you can see from the meaning here, having the necessary strength, courage, and ability to deal with something successfully. Now, look at the example here. I hope he proves equal to the challenge. Okay, synonyms for 400. This is another word for sugar coating. It's actually two words again. So our words here are romance and romanticize. I've given you the American and British spelling of the two words here. You've known of sugar coating in its literal sense, which is covering a fruit or something of salt in the sugar. This word is using sugar coating in its metaphorical meaning, which is making something superficially attractive or acceptable. You could also use fantasize to, mean the same word that the other two are using. Anyway, examples here. I do want to note though that this word also has an old-fashioned usage, which is flirting. Examples. Stop romanticizing. Nothing's that perfect. Okay, adverbs for 400. This adverb means incomplete or use this word with its old-fashioned meaning in a biased manner.
Is it partly?
Yes, it is. So we just played this. We just played this verb. Adjective before. So I'll pass through. Okay, verb for 100. This verb is force somebody to do something in the context of the current situation, the law, or a certain duty, etc. This verb is pronounced as oblige. Okay, so
Okay.
speaking of being contractually bound to something, this word, one word to help you better summarize what it means is require. This word is equivalent to in meaning to the word compel, which is also a word that you might have known in lower grades, like grade 7 or something, I think. There's a word compulsory. Do you remember that?
Adjectives 400.
Okay, so this adjective means in this way or relating to a particular thing. This is actually a suffix. This is paired with a noun or an adjective to form another adjective or an adverb. This suffix is dash-wise. This is one of the thousands of affixes in English, more specifically one in hundreds of suffixes. You've seen it. This one means in this manner or relating to something. I've even shown you how to use it. You pair it with a noun or an adjective to make an adjective or an adverb. Okay, so here are the examples of how to of this suffix in use. Now, time-wise, we're not doing too badly. This one means regarding time, blah blah. And I assume you already know what screw the lid on clockwise means. And another thing, there's also dropwise. I think it's a new word. I think it's a new word for you, which means one drop at a time. It already is an adverbial usage of a suffix, so I'm not going to include it in the PowerPoint here. Okay, verbs for 400. This one means to indicate, represent, or mean something or to be of importance. This verb is signify. If I recall correctly, we did note in your group's feedback paper that this word doesn't actually belong into one of your word families. It goes here. Goes here in this unit, specifically in the word significance family. So yeah, definition is as shown. An example of the to be of importance or to matter meaning is going to be presented to you. I'm going to assume you already know how to use the word with the other meanings. So examples here, don't worry about being late, it doesn't signify, it doesn't matter. Noun for 400, this is the person to whom you can tell your secrets or personal matters to. This word, the word you're actually saying is confident, not confident. So there's also the French pronunciation, which is confident. In French, it is spelled with an E, like confident. You've known before. This is a borrowed word from French, as it may suggest, and I've already told you. In English, however, dictionaries suggest that this is a very old-fashioned usage of the word. But don't confuse this with the actual modern confident in English, as they are only one letter away from each other and they mean completely different things.
Synonym and meaning of words 300.
Okay, so aside from all the meanings you can attach to this adjective about love, it also means impractical and having many unrealistic ideas. A romantic is, I guess, a dreamer. They fantasize about everything in their heads, regardless of whether or not they know they're not being realistic. This word could also indicate an artist of a certain art style in the late 18th and early 19th centuries. Okay, this adverb means in a way that has not been previously known or been done or has not previously happened. The word you're thinking of is unprecedentedly, right? Unprecedentedly. So in relation to precedent, I'll tell you now that you can use this word instead of never before seen or really any word or phrase to indicate that something has never happened before. This is quite useful for writing. Okay, adjective 100. This is decided or arranged for before something takes place, eliminating any randomness.
Is it predetermined?
Yes, it is. This is a really easy word. So in relation to determination, which is the act of deciding something officially, this word is about actually doing it before something else takes place. Like, for example, everything in this game has already been predetermined for you. Okay, now it's for 200. This is an action or decision that can be later used for another action or decision.
Is that precedent?
Yes, it is. Now, the most common example to use this word would be setting a precedent, which is the thing that will be the base for the course of action for any decision or for any action or decision relating to it in the future. Here is an example for you to see what I'm saying. The ruling in this case is likely to set a precedent for how future cases are decided.
Adjectives 200.
Okay, this is bound by the requirements of the law or rules, etc. The adjective is obligatory. Now, speaking of being contractually bound, if you want to say that somebody is bound by, say, the law or the rules of a game, etc., you could say that it is obligatory for someone to do something. That's the general formula for this word.
I go for synonym 200.
Okay, this is another word for a secret. If my ears don't deceive me, I think you said confidence. Right, this is another word for a secret. To use this in a sentence, add the preposition in before the word. So you have in confidence, meaning in secret, and the example, I'm telling you this in confidence, meaning I'm telling you this in secret. This adverb means in a way that shows somebody is indifferent towards something or not worried about something. This is unconcernedly. All right, I've shown you the definition. Now I'm going to expand on it by telling you that you can use this word as an alternative for without a care or carefree, something of the sort. Okay, synonyms for 100. When used with the preposition of, this word does not actually mean the legal recognition of two partners' union in romantic relationship, but rather means a combination of two or more things.
Is that marriage?
Yes, it is. You are now tied for points with group 1. Okay, you may have noticed what the clue was telling you when you were looking at the handout. I've already explained to you what this word is and how you could use it. You can even see it in your collocations column in the handout. So just like that, we now have a synonym of a combination of. I think this is quite useful if you're doing something like writing a descriptive essay about something or review of some form of art. You get to answer this one in a way that shows you just someone not to make your secret known to others.
Confidingly.
Yes. Speaking of the person who you trust to be able to tell your secrets to and also keep them, that was confidant, I just told you. This adverb has a similar meaning to trustingly. These are probably interchangeable. I don't really see a problem if you do that. Now, final example to finish the game. This is, I'm ambitious too, she said confidingly, meaning she said trustingly. And we are done. Friends, I've showed you what I found and what I've known for the vocabulary work of group 2. My collocations work is in your handouts. Also taking the time to explain the ones you probably don't know and giving you examples to most of them. I hope you give them all a read and will be able to use everything I have for you as reference material later on.